Question number 3, the Honourable Annette King.
Manner.
Question number 3, the Honourable Annette King.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just giving some instructions to the Minister
Order.
of Finance. My question is to the Minister of Finance. In light of the Minister for Social Development and Employment's answer to oral question number 2 last Thursday, when she said 170,000 new jobs was, quote, a Treasury prediction, what is the government's assessment of the number of new jobs which will be created by 2013?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, the projection that the Minister is referring to came from the budget update, which is prepared by Treasury using their best professional judgment. The government doesn't make independent forecasts. However, we think that the Treasury projections look feasible. They're currently finalising their pre-election update, which will be released this month. I don't expect the projections will be greatly different from those in the budget.
The Honourable Annette King.
Mr. Speaker, what evidence has he seen to support the Treasury projection of 170,000 new jobs when other Treasury projections have failed to materialise, such as the 4.7% growth promised in the 2010 budget, which ended up as 2.3% growth?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, of course it's hard to find evidence for things that are going to happen in 2 or 3 years' time. But the evidence at the moment is that the economy is in a phase of moderate growth. There is reasonable business confidence, there is some increase in investment, and we have an export sector that's had probably its best year in 10 or 15 years. And all of that is leading to a moderate but steady growth in employment.
The Honourable Annette King.
Mr. Speaker, why, if we are on track to create 170,000 new jobs, were almost 800 people made redundant from jobs in the Alliance Meatworks, Dock, Tangiwai Mill, Canterbury Leather International, Housing New Zealand, the warehouse and the wood processing industry in the last month alone?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, that's part of the ongoing process of the necessary restructuring of the economy. Of course, losing a job is very difficult for any family that goes through that experience, and the best thing we can do for them is build an economic environment where they have the hope and the probability of getting a new job, and that is what we are focusing on.
The Honourable Annette King.
Supplementary question. As he has already seen next month's PREFU, will Treasury's projections of 170,000 new jobs over the next 3 years be revised downward? If not, why not?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the member will just have to wait for that. I haven't seen all the detail of the forecasts, but the indications, actually as was set out in the Reserve Bank forecast just 2 or 3 weeks ago, indicate the economy is roughly on track from where it was with the budget, subject to 2 qualifications. One is it's performed a bit better than expected in the short term, a bit more growth and a few more jobs, and looking out 2 or 3 years because of the downturn in our trading partners, it looks a bit softer.
The Honourable Annette King.
That was a yes. Supplementary question, Mr. Speaker. Does he agree with the Prime Minister who said most countries would trade their right arm for our position? If so, which countries have offered a limb in exchange for our almost 30% youth unemployment rate, one of the highest ratios of youth unemployment in the OECD?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, in reference to offers to swap positions, I can tell the member this, that in discussions I had, I think last week with the Governor of the Federal Reserve Bank, Mr. Ben Bernanke, at one stage he did say, would you like to swap jobs?
Question number 4, Dr. Russell Norman.